Hi, I am your host, Leonette Talley, and you are listening to Virago 24/7. Virago is Latin for female warrior, and 24/7 is for all day, every day. Virago 24/7 is a weekly podcast that brings diverse women together to talk about life and our experiences in this world. We share our views on self-love, mental health, marriage, children, friendships, and really anything that needs to be talked about. Here, you will find everyday growth, everyday healing with everyday warriors. Just give me my space to move. 'Cause it's my thoughts, what I want, and I want what I want. I am so excited for today. Like I always am. I think I always start my podcast with I'm so excited for today because I'm always excited to record. But the Enneagram, and shoot, I forgot to look up what episode that was, but go back, Enneagram show with Melissa Thorson. She's back. I got so much feedback from that, like good feedback. People loved it. People like to know about the personalities and stuff. So Melissa Thorson's back.
Hello, I'm honored to be back. I hope today it lives up to that sell.
I think so.
That fast sale you just gave me.
Well, I wanted her to come back because I wanted to dig deep into some of the numbers, not some of them, all of them, but we're going to just do a few at a time. And so I texted her. I was like, let's do it. Let's dig deep. What numbers do you want to start with? She said 1 and 3. I'm like, I know just the girls that are 1s and 3s. Like, you guys were the first people that I thought about. Like, there was no B, A's, or B's. I'm like, we're going to make it happen until we can record together. So we have Lindsey Yoder.
Hey there.
Number 1.
I'm a 1 on the Enneagram.
Meghann McNally.
Hello.
Number 3.
Yes.
And both of you have been on the shows, on my podcast, on some shows. So no one's new. We know what to do.
You've also got to claim your own number because you're
Oh,
not off the mic.
I'm number 6.
Yes.
Do you get to claim your number?
I can if
Does
needed.
it?
Claim it, Melissa. Claim it.
Yes, I'm a 2, but I will try to keep my anecdotes because I probably shared a lot of those to a minimum because I want to hear from you. But
Yes.
I'm happy to answer at any point if you have questions about 2s as we're talking. I can interject my own personal stories.
Well, I'm excited.
Me too.
Thanks for having us.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank
thank
you.
Well, thanks for being here. So, Melissa.
Yes.
Where do we start?
So let me first start off by saying why I chose 1 and 3 first. It's not because they're my favorites.
That was the
even
first
though-
question.
Yeah. So Megan's like, why did she pick 1 and 3? I'm like, I don't know. I'm just following the directions. I don't know.
Well, it honestly was like an off-the-cuff response, but I think for a couple of reasons. Number one, I feel like a lot of women that I meet identify as 1s or 3s. So I feel like there's a lot of them out there that may or may not have found their number yet. And so maybe some of your stories will help them land on a type. Secondly, I feel like 1s that I've interacted with are often very quick to claim their oneness when they start studying the Enneagram. And oftentimes 3s I know have had a harder time landing on their number. Not always, often. So I thought that would be kind of interesting to maybe talk about your journey and how you knew what your type was, whether it was through a book, a podcast, the test, any or all of those options. So Lindsey, will you tell us first, what was your process like in claiming type 1, the reformer or the perfectionist?
Yes, thank you. I can't even remember when I learned about the Enneagram. It might have been through podcasts, and there were, I guess, just several friends were talking about it. And I remember when I first saw the shape, that looks kind of funky, if you haven't seen it before. And I learned the kind of dominant emotions for the different types. Or I learned, that the 8s, 9s, and 1s are in the body, the intelligence center. The 2s, 3s, and 4s are in the heart, and the 5s, 6s, and 7s are in the head.
Okay, we got a scholar over here. I like it.
Well, so as soon as I saw that, I was like, I don't know which I am, but I'm in the body triad.
Okay.
So I knew I'm an 8, 9, or a 1. And when the more dominant emotion for that one was anger, I was like, oh, that's me. I know I'm one of those. So that was a pretty quick, paring down for me. So then as soon as I started to read, I've read several books from different folks on the Enneagram. And as soon as I did, and I read about the 1s, almost from the moniker that the reformer or the perfectionist, I'm like, oop, that one's me.
That nailed it.
So it felt pretty identifiable to me.
I feel like the anger part is easy for people to grasp on. The body part to me is a little more interesting. How did you know so quickly that you interact with the world through your gut or your body first?
Yeah, I think it was that intuitive sense of like when I would ask my husband, who is a 5, I will ask him like what he thinks about something. And he's like, I need to think about it. Because and I'm like, why? Like, how don't you just know? Mm-hmm. And I could identify with the fact that ones are sort of scanning, and I'm always looking, always taking in, and always thinking about improvement as a 1. And so when it's time to purchase a couch, I already know what couch options are there because I've been in people's homes and I've seen them, or I've paid attention on ads, or I've thought about would I want high arms or low arms or a high back or a low back. Like I'm taking all of that in constantly. So it's all of that data is already there. And so I can just decide.
That's impressive.
It's fascinating to me. It is just... It's so in line with 1. It is so not in line with how my brain works, which I love.
Yes.
Okay, so hold those fabulous thoughts. Meghann, your 3-ness. Yes. That sounded like I said something I didn't. I said 3-ness. What was your process like in finding 3?
Very different than Lindsey. So what's fun is Lindsey actually got me to the Enneagram or connected to it. So I have done a lot of work like personally, and I'm totally emotional coming into this. By the way, I'm like, I just came from therapy. Yes. I told everybody when I got in, I'm like on the verge of tears for multiple reasons, but this is a really great topic. So Lindsey is actually the one who got me interested or thinking about it. I've done a lot of work just to heal and work through a bunch of stuff. And that was really a great additional piece to really understand more about myself. And I'm not like very well versed in any of it. I'm definitely not like Lindsey is so amazing and scholarly about it. She's a great resource, but doing my own work, I just did the test and then I read, Lindsey gave me the book, The Road Back to You. And I was a 3 from the minute I started taking the test and got it. I mean, it was very obvious. And in my 3-ness, the last podcast I was on, one of our mutual friends texted and said, I loved your 3-ness in the podcast. I didn't know I was doing it. But so that's how I found out. And now I use it to help in just kind of a day-to-day way of being. Like, where is it getting in my way? Where is it impeding me from like being true to other people? One of the biggest things for me with recognizing my 3-ness was being authentic. And that's been a challenge, and maybe this is going farther in, but for myself and as a 3, everything is wrapped up in worth. And decisions or behaviors I make are all wrapped up in worth. And it's not with a malicious intent. It's simply to be found or determined worthy. And that's been one of my biggest pieces of work as it relates to the Enneagram is to where am I in unhealthy 3 and I'm not being authentic because of it and working. So that's how I discovered it.
And you said you weren't scholarly about it? Because that right there was like money. In fact, I want to like linger there for a second before we move to Leonette.
I am not scholarly. I cannot describe my 6 the way these 2 did.
But no, see, that's the thing though.
Like at all.
That's the thing. If it is authentic, to use the word Meghann used, then it is. So there were 2 things you said that I want to hang on for a second. Number 1, she bravely and courageously admitted that right before this recording, she was at therapy. Amen to that, because a lot of times clients that are interested in pursuing the Enneagram are like, well, I have a therapist. I'm like, awesome. In fact, it goes best if you have a therapist and a coach or a spiritual director hand in hand, because they focus on different aspects of healing, looking forward, looking backwards, and then to use your word of learning how to not let your 3 kind of trip you up. That's mindsight. That is learning how to not get in the way of yourself, because all of us in our wiring, in our wounds, can get in the way of ourselves. And if we're getting in the way of ourselves, we're getting in the way of our relationships. So that's the goal I have for us today as we're talking, is really kind of like disarming, like metaphorically speaking, taking our clothes off, because it will help other listeners realize, oh my God, I do the same thing. I have the same fight with my spouse. I have the same struggle when I'm trying to make new friends. So for a 3, you talked about authenticity. A lot of 3s I've talked to have felt this woundedness and this shame, which is the emotion that they know best, about feeling like they're chameleons. And for some, that word is very wounding. And it's like, don't call me a chameleon. That makes it seem like I have no worth because I'm just whoever I'm around. But a metaphor that I think is super helpful, and I've actually had to preach this to myself, even though I'm a 2, I have a lot of 3 in me, is that I'm not faking who I am depending on who I'm around. Instead, it's like each person is a magnet that magnetizes a different part out. So it's not pretending, it's just connecting in a different way that feels most appropriate in that particular situation. Do you relate to that at all?
I do. So I think in terms of being a chameleon for a really long time, I didn't know that it was part of where it was. I was a 3. I just thought I was, it served me well, right? It was very protective. It was also very rewarding because that ability I was able to do things with it. It was either protective, or I was able to be successful in a work situation or respond. And I did have to spend a lot of time really thinking and evaluating individual responses to things to identify which of those of the chameleon were because I am able to use what you were talking about, is that it's a magnet of like, oh, I can really pick up into that, or I can connect with someone there, or I'm open and curious to doing that because it's just who I am. Or is it because I'm afraid of being vulnerable, or I'm afraid of what they're going to think if I don't measure up? Am I saying yes or no for the right reasons? And so that was a big piece. So it does resonate in the fact that I think the term chameleon for a long time, until I understood more about the place I come from in my responses to things, I really did think I was very proud of it. And now I can kind of be both because I can identify when I'm doing it and maybe not the best way. And I'm doing it because it's
your motive behind why you're
doing
it. Yeah.
So yes. And it's, I think that's where sort of that unhealthy versus healthy 3, for me at least, comes in to say, okay, am I doing this because it is the next right thing for me in a healthy way, or is it because I'm really trying to just make sure that everybody like finds me really valuable?
Preserves an image.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
And that concludes our episode.
That was beautiful. Well, I never, I never thought that was a bad word. Chameleon to me is like, yeah, you connect with multiple people. So that's interesting that it's considered not
I think it
a positive, depending on the person.
On the person, because even the moniker for type 3, which is the achiever, but in some literature it's the performer. Some people hear the word performer and are like, oh, like cool, you're an entertainer, you're a performer. Others are like, oh, it means I'm fake.
Right.
Okay.
And there's a little bit of
never
both.
thought that. Yeah.
So tell us, Leonette, about your 6.
Oh.
How did you land on 6?
I am not going to be as articulate as these two, but actually, it's from all of them. We are in a group text. So everyone's talking about Enneagram. And then I had another friend say, she thought I was a 7. She's like, you need to take it. You need to take it. You're definitely a 7. You're definitely a 7. And then it was around the same time that we were all texting about the Enneagram. I was like, let me take this test. So I took the test. I'm a 6. My other friend was shocked. She's like, there's no way. There's no way. She thought I was lying because the 7 is like, woo. I'm like, okay, I come across as woo, but that's not really who I am on the inside. And people confuse that. So I think with the 6,
help me along because I don't remember everything about myself.
That's okay.
I like the Enneagram, just me personally, to learn about other people. I'm not really using it for myself per se, which is weird. Like you guys are talking about like, oh, I've connected with myself. For me, it's like, okay, I need to understand other people and not be so quick to just kind of dismiss them because I don't understand them and you're not my people, so let me just dismiss you. So it's like, okay, calm down, Leonette. Like get to know that person, like get to understand who they are. So that's why I like it so much. But I think the sixes are, we're fear-based. Is that true? Which is true. That's very true. Even though I come across that I'm fearless, everything that I do is very like, I have to think about it 1,000 times.
It's interesting, even in that tidbit of why you're a six, how six, a lot of that came across.
Really?
Because sixes are very much like hitching their wagon to other people. Like they find their direction, they find their comfort, their safety when their wagon is hitched to other people. So the fact that you're like, I just need to understand
It has to be the right people, though.
Well, right. So they have a strong anti-authoritarian streak. So you're gonna be loyal to the ones you choose, but you're gonna test the hell out of them until you find the ones that deserve your trust.
That's very true.
So that makes a lot of sense.
I like to have sixes in my life because I can see if Leonette trusts you, then you're good.
She's already put them through the fire.
Then you're in with me
so
too.
sweet.
I never thought about it that
And
way.
like the way that sixes will test that loyalty. If she
But it's
finds you
interesting.
trustworthy,
Is it like a subconscious thing? Because I'm not like, I'm going to test Lindsey or I'm going to test Meghann. Like, but it is kind of, I'm very standoffish at first with people because I have to figure you out.
I don't think it means you're like being ugly.
Okay.
Or,
No. I just
literally
observe.
testing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I've heard sixes described as they're scanning for
Yes.
threats.
1,000%. Yep.
And I've learned to receive that now when my six friends are doing that in love.
That's a great insight.
Because you're like, let me go ahead and see it all.
Yep.
Let me go ahead and feel it all, be prepared for it all so that if it happens, I can help you.
We're safe.
That's right. And so you're doing that out of, it's the way you're showing love for your family or for your friends. So I received that like threat forecasting as
I love that.
That's
It's a
very
positive
well said.
because for me it seems very judgmental. Like I'm very judgmental. Like I do that. I can sense things and I observe, and then if there's something off, I'm very quick to be like, ooh, like stay away. But then I feel like it's just too quick to judge. So I'm like, is that good? Is that bad? Do I need to like bend a little bit? It's a lot. It's a lot. So that's sweet of you to think it's a positive for me. I'm like, I'm just being so judgmental and I'm so quick to feel energy. And if it doesn't feel right, then I don't want to be around it anymore. And so I don't know. So it's a superpower.
Yeah, I like to have
sixes
sixes on an interview team. It's really good to have a six.
Oh, wow.
Kind of listening for
Red flags.
those kinds of things.
Yes.
Right. And if at the end of that, Leonette's got a weird feeling or whatever, that it's super helpful to watch who a six will trust.
Interesting.
That is a great insight.
Very interesting.
And sixes need the time oftentimes to verbally process, or at least have their own time to process all of those things that they're scanning, because normally they have 1,000 ideas and they may want to voice all 1,000 of them. And that doesn't mean they plan on putting action behind any of them. They just need the time and space to get it out.
Yes.
But they're preparing. They're preparing. That is a form of preparation.
It's like we're thinking out loud.
Yes.
It messes with Philip, who's a one, like Lindsey. Does that bother? Like, I think out loud and he thinks that that's the direction we're going. Like, no, just throwing out all the ideas. He's like, just like, tell me, like.
Because he's already decided.
He knows.
I've already ordered the couch.
Yeah.
That's right.
I can't go to the store with him because he's like, yep, that's it. I'm like, well, like, can we like look at all all of our options?
No.
So,
take your time.
Yeah.
May I pose a question that I would love for each person to reflect upon? And if you need time, you can take time. If you want to talk it out and arrive at your thoughts, you can do that too. We'll start a little softer. We'll get to the tears later. No. I'm like, oh boy. No, this is not going to go anywhere. We'll tread lightly. I mean, you can take it as deep as you want.
Okay.
But this first question, since many of us are either in a committed relationship or we have kids or we have colleagues, we have friends, what makes you feel the most valued or loved? And it can either be types of words or some kind of action. Take a minute to think about it. And while you're thinking, I can answer. So for me is anytime I feel thought of, like a simple text from someone that's like, hey, I remembered you were going on this vacation. How was it? Or, hey, I remember so-and-so and your family was sick. How are they doing? Just a simple, you came to mind and I want to let you know that you are taking up my brain space. That can make me feel incredibly loved. Does anyone else have something come to mind?
A word that sticks out to me is feeling seen, which would have a little different connotation than what you're talking about.
Okay, tell me. Tell us.
I think being seen to me is about being seen for all of the work that I'm doing. Being a one and wanting to bring so many good things, positive things, lots of reformation, lots of improvement. I'm constantly working and thinking and making things better. Mm-hmm. If I am seen for that and the contributions that's making to my family, to my work life, that matters to me because I'm working very, very hard. Always. Perpetually. And so to be seen for that work and for those contributions helps me feel loved. You should feel very loved because you are for sure seen. You like people see you. People that don't even know you that listen, who's that Lindsey girl? She needs to be on. Like they you are seen.
What does being seen look like to you? How do you know if you're being seen?
Oh, gosh. I think it might depend on the situation. If someone can tell that I like specific things, like not thanks for all the work you do. I'm like, what?
That's a cop out.
Yeah. Like you tell me which things I do that are helpful. So specifics, things that acknowledge the spinning of plates, like all of the things that I'm managing, that means a lot to me. When someone has acknowledged that I've thought it all the way through, like if they can see like that I've done that and how I've done that and how that has helped a work situation, my son's birthday that was on Wednesday, I'm managing the gifts that he wants,
the menu,
getting the dessert from the place, and I'm fitting that into my work life, and I'm organizing my work call around when he wants to play Nintendo Switch as a family, like navigating and having that day. At the end of the day, my husband said, "Thank you for doing all of that. That was a lot of work." And I was like, "Yes, it was." And thank you very much for acknowledging that.
So acknowledging the mental load.
That's right.
Not just the perfect outcome that inevitably always comes, but the investment of time, brain power, emotional taxation that is involved. Lindsey, on a scale of 1 to 10, how responsible would you rate yourself?
I was going to bring up that word.
Honestly.
Word. It is my number one strengths finder. Like when you do strengths finder, you come up with your five strengths. Responsibility is the first one for me.
So your rating for yourself would be?
Out of 10, 10 is like
10 is it?
The most ever. I'm a 20 out of that.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah. And how would you rate the general population of people you interact with, whether it's your family, on level of responsibility? We're not just talking about family, if you're listening, family. We're talking about anyone in the general population that you interact with on a weekly basis. What would you rate their level of responsibility?
Negatives are okay.
She's like, I'm a 20, and they're like negative 20.
No, I would say, okay, I'll put myself on the scale. I'll be a 10 on the scale, and I would say others are
be honest. Spit it out.
7.
Oh, that's generous. That's actually
you're being kind.
Yeah,
for the
that's
podcast.
generous.
I was going to be,
You're being generous.
I'm being
aren't you?
Very generous.
Because I'm learning that my sense of like,
like a
you're not
seven.
being responsible. For me, I'm learning to see that that kind of living is a gift I bring to the world. It will also crush me. And so it's my particular lens. It's the way I cope. And it's not everybody. So I'm learning to see that just because people aren't a 10 in responsibility, it doesn't mean they are irresponsible.
That's woke right there.
So in my judgmental self, I would be like, all y'all are a 2 and I'm pulling all the effing weight here. So, but I'm learning to see like, it's not just because you aren't doing it the way I'm doing it or to the level that I think all things should be done. It does not mean I uniquely carry the value of integrity or responsibility. It doesn't mean other people are irresponsible.
Correct.
Because I am through the
Uber.
roof.
Yes.
That's right.
So that is like grace and love abound in that answer, obviously, and self-reflection and humility and acknowledging that just because I am exceptionally gifted in responsibility does not mean that others in comparison to me are flawed or lacking. That being said, if you're listening and you have a 1 in your life, whether it's a spouse, a mom, a child, if you strip all of that away and simplify it, just doing your crap that you're supposed to do is like half the battle sometimes. Because for a 1 who chronically performs and overperforms their tasks, their household management, their jobs, little dropped balls on behalf of other people are just extreme salt to the wound. So if you say you're going to be there at 4, be there at 4. I was 2 minutes late today. I do apologize.
Oh, no. I have a thing about timeliness that isn't a 1 thing.
Okay.
You carry on.
Okay. Hold that
Yes.
thought. That's fascinating.
Yes.
Or if you sign up to bring waters to the party, bring the waters to the party. If you say you're going to do the dishes every night, do the dishes every night without having to be asked or reminded. Just take ownership of your own stuff to show love to another one. Am I?
That is
Yeah,
great.
yeah,
I forgot
yeah,
that
that's
one.
great.
Okay.
That's great. I do know that timeliness is a thing for 1s, like being on
and
time.
for 3 sometimes, depending. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
I am not often on time.
Okay.
And it is because I have a high value for efficiency. So I'm like, let me do this one more thing before I leave the house. Let me patch this hole in the wall and paint it. Let me switch the laundry. Okay, if I can start the dishwasher before I leave, it will be finished when I get back. So I can be a few minutes late. So I'm not someone who's always on time.
But it's because you chose to do the quote unquote right thing at home first.
I like achieving things in a different way than a 3. And that's why I love 1s and 3s in the same conversation, because I have it's a lot of achievement. It's a lot of accomplishment.
And efficiency.
And efficiency is
productivity.
Are things that I have such a high value for that I can get, like, I'm making myself a little late or making myself crazy because I'm like, if I go run this errand, I can go to the UPS store and to Publix and then to Target. But that bothers me because the Publix is before the Target. And I need to go to Publix last because I have groceries. So I'm going to have to turn, and I guess I'll park near the Target.
Wow.
And go in there and then
everything's
walk.
a system.
That's right.
Everything's a system.
The joy I get when all the lights are right and I've turned and I've done all that in a quick, like, I know other people enjoy that kind of thing too, but the amount of like, I nailed that.
It's like a calming sensation.
That's right.
That you did it the cleanest, crispest,
That's right.
most efficient,
That's right.
streamlined way.
That's right. And so that can cause me to be late. So I know that's a thing for 1s.
I
but
know.
for
No,
me,
that's good.
it's
That's a great
different way.
insight. That's a great insight.
But that's what is so fun about 1s and 3s. I am the same way. I'm late everywhere. It does not. I'm late to meetings. I am late everywhere, or I overcommit and then underdeliver. And it is because I don't want to let anybody down, and not because I actually care about letting them down. but it's because I'm afraid they're not going to be okay with me.
You don't want to be known as the one that lets people know.
So I give that other person like 5 extra minutes and a couple extra minutes to that meeting, and then a couple extra minutes here, and then a couple here. And like, it's also very much about achievement. Like the scenario that you just provided around Publix and then Target and then this one, same thing. But the reason behind it is around achievement for doing it, not because it's the right thing. It's all performance based. And so I am
goal directed, I'm sure.
100%. Like, yep, I did that and I did that, and I'm like, so it's this, and I'm always late, and I'm like always late.
It's fascinating though. You're right. I mean, that's why again this stuff is so rich, because behaviors can look the same, motivations look different.
Right. It's so
And I am not motivated by goals in any way.
Interesting.
Really
Not even at all.
at all.
Are you motivated by a list?
I do like a list, yes.
Like
but
your own-
I'm more motivated by an identity than by goals. So for work, I have to set goals. Goals are important to know where you're headed. But to me, goals, I'm more motivated by, I want to be this kind of person. I want to be a person who does those kinds of things.
Reliable, responsible.
That's right. Versus like numeric goals or like, I'm not motivated by that at all.
Fascinating.
Well, I'm just late. I'm not even being productive. You guys like it because I started this. I'm just late because I was just sitting and I was like, oh shoot, I didn't realize it. I am always late. And I'm like, I wasn't doing anything exciting.
That's great.
So anyways,
I love it.
I don't know if that has anything to do with the 6 or just me.
Just Leonette.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
it.
To hear more amazing female warrior stories, hit that subscribe button and give us a 5-star rating. We would truly appreciate the love. Now back to our show.
Well, I want to hear both of your answers about what makes you feel the most loved. Like truly, what makes you feel valued and loved?
The thing that came to my mind was affirmation.
Verbal?
Anything, really.
Public? Like, do you like to be affirmed in front of the crowd, or do you like a private affirmation?
It's what's
All of them. Like Meghann, you're beautiful, you are strong, you're the best mom, you're the best wife.
I love it. I mean, really, anything.
Anything.
Certificates.
Yes.
I'll take a certificate all day long.
Yes.
Text message is fine.
Do you find that you
A
revisit?
plastic trophy from the dollar store also is cool.
I do love that. The mini trophies that Rachel gives out, our trainer. Back in the day, we would do challenges and she'd give out mini trophies. That is so rewarding. And I'm not even a 3.
Hilarious.
I love a mini trophy.
Okay, note taken.
Yeah.
There.
So yeah, affirmation.
Do you revisit previously earned affirmations? Like if you got a great email from someone, do you ever go back and are like, I need to read this again?
No.
Or do you like to tell other people? Like,
No.
hey? So it's all
It's
all
all
in you.
internal. I do not like to brag. I do not want to make a big deal out of it. I will fixate on the ones that are not affirming. Like I will go into the ones that are not, and like, how do I do it differently, or what could I have done differently? Like what could I have performed differently to have gotten it, right?
Interesting. Yes.
But I don't go back. I don't want like the public or like a big deal. I just like it.
Where do you get the most affirmation in your life?
Work.
Like a boss or people that report to
Anybody.
you? Everybody at work?
Yeah,
Why?
but like that's where it comes from the most. But it's probably because that's where I spend most.
That was my next question. Do you enjoy it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I do. I love my job. I used to not love my job, but I also spent all of my time there.
But now you love it. You didn't love it. Now you love it.
Is there a place currently in your life that you are hungry for more affirmation that you're not getting it?
Not really. I mean, I think what I've seen as a mom is that there is no affirmation. Like my 9 and 5-year-old are not.
They can't affirm anything.
like, great job,
Mom, you really slayed the to-do list
Bedtime.
with efficiency today. Right? Like, I'm so glad you made it to Target before we ran out of time to go to UPS.
Yeah, and so I think as a mom, like, there's definitely this thing that it's, and I, of course, like, intellectually understand that my children are not gonna be affirming to my performance as their mom. But like, at the root of it, there's that part of it where you're just doing it because you're doing it, and it's these like people who you love unconditionally. And so that's actually been a big growth area for me, is also not putting the same like expectations on that as I do other it's actually made me a healthier 3.
Fascinating.
Because I realize, like, it's not, also, if I'm not getting it but that I'm trying to, that it's super unhealthy, and that it's just, that's not like the why behind any of it.
Do you ever find yourself, when you're recognizing that you're not getting affirmation as a mom, that you pour even more of yourself into your job to get more affirmation because it feels a little safer? It's more
Or
in your lane?
anything. Like, anything. If I see that I'm not getting affirmation somewhere or in a particular area, I will do, I mean, not anything, like, not, I mean, like, I'm not like dishonest or something, but like, really, I will work as hard as I possibly can to lift up that gap. So it could be being a mom, it could be relationally with friends, it could be at work, it could be stupid stuff too, like, you know, it's why I have 45 journals and I have one page in every one filled out. Like, I should be journaling because that's like
A thing.
what, you know, people who have their act together do. You know,
So let me ask you this. Let's say you give a big presentation at work. After the presentation, you are given 2 emails from 2 different people. One person says, that was an amazing presentation. And another person says, you're a really gifted communicator. Do those feel the same to you? Does one feel better than the other?
I mean, both of them are great. The gifted communicator is more detailed in it being great. So, I mean, they both of them
feel
to
good.
me, like, if someone said one word like awesome and the other person wrote a paragraph, they would both be
They both feel like wins.
very wonderful.
So that's interesting. So again, listening, if you have a 3 in your life, it is not uncommon for them to desire affirmation and praise and encouragement and recognition. But so often, because 3s are these golden children that get the trophies and the medals and the accolades and the awards, sometimes they can lose confidence in who they are because they are so often praised for what they have done, what they have produced. So a compliment is a compliment, as Meghann just said, which is great. It's better than nothing. But I think it's a really great gift to give to a 3 whenever you can praise them for something about who they are, not just what they have done. Because eventually, if your trophy shelf is getting a little empty, and if your refrigerator is having fewer and fewer of your masterpieces displayed, that emptiness can start to take over. And then it's like, where am I going to pour myself in to get my next accolade? But if people are praising you and affirming you genuinely for who you are, that can fill the cup a little longer.
So that, what you just said is a big deal, I think, for 3, at least for me as a 3, but for 3s maybe who are listening. So this idea of like trophies going away or affirmations going away, that was a lot of work that I had to do as a 3 to not go to a really bad place when that wasn't happening, especially as a 3, in many ways. So as I went from being a childless person with a career to a working mom who was trying to have and maintain a career and children, my priorities really, I had to evaluate them a lot. And that I could let the things that used to give me trophies and accolades and things, deprioritize them or not put so much importance on them because I was putting more importance on raising children and being with children, and that I could do both, but it would change. And that, you're exactly right. That I struggled a lot with, who am I if I don't have that affirmation? Who am I if I don't win? Who am I if I don't do this the best? Who am I? That was a big, big deal to fill that void with also something healthy.
Yes.
As a 3, like not filling it with more unhealthy 3 things to try and get it, and recognizing like, who am I without it?
Yes.
Down to, what is my favorite color if I were going to pick my favorite color? Right? I mean, like basic life things that maybe other people like totally get, but like, if I don't have a group of people who are talking about their favorite color, and like, where do I think that what's my favorite color? Do I like the mountains or the ocean better? If like, just like basic life stuff, that all had to be figured out because things shifted. So that's a big deal for 3s.
I love that. And I think 9s can relate to that too, which there's an arrow between 3 and 9, which makes sense. But a lot of times 9s have a hard time analyzing their own preferences because they're so used to just going along to get along. I would say another helpful thing, we were talking about journaling before we got started recording, but when 3s are forced to sit alone with their thoughts for a little bit, it's brutal because it doesn't seem productive. It seems frustrating. But sometimes that can be really powerful. And there's books out there, like devotional books if you're a faith-based person, or other books if you want something different, but that give you these guided prompts that help you reflect. And sometimes that's the best thing you can do.
It's therapeutic for me to write things down.
And as a 3, someone had to literally tell me, like, your feelings and acknowledging them will not kill you. Like, you can be in them, right? And for a 3, that is a space that maybe a lot of 3s don't go.
Absolutely. Or even knowing what the feelings are before they can sit in them. Naming feelings. I love to ask 3s, how do you feel about? Because they hate it.
Don't do that.
They hate it. Which I'm like, ask me a feeling question all day and I'll talk to you for an hour. But 3, that's hard.
Yeah.
That's hard.
I think the 3 sandwiched between a 2 and a 4, like so solidly in the heart.
Yes.
Why is that difficult then for a 3?
Because, great question.
It is a good question because 2s and 4s are super in their feelings, right?
So 2s, 3s, and 4s are all in the heart triad or the feelings triad. But 3s are both feeling dominant, meaning they feel first, but they are also feelings repressed because they feel something, but then they're constantly measuring it against what's cool or what's acceptable from the crowd. So, or they're so in tuned with the feelings of the crowd that their own individual feeling has gotten buried a little bit. So I could maybe ask you, how do you feel about social justice issues? And you might be able to spout off things you've heard from people that you find cool or respectable. But how do you really feel would take a lot more digging to get there.
So true.
Yeah.
I remember one time we were talking about our therapist or something, and the question of like, what do you want? We were like, rude.
Like, is that a rude question?
Why did you ask that?
What are your credentials?
Exactly. Who are you to be asking me this?
That's so funny.
Terrible. I love it.
So ones and 3s don't like that question. What do you want?
I struggle with that question as a 1 because I want to have picked the right one, right?
What's the right answer?
What's the right answer? And not always like right from their perspective. And that might be the difference with the 3.
But like morally right?
Right.
Yeah.
Like the right one for me.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. Like 1s feel like I've been playing a game all this time and I haven't known the rules. Like that's what like the childhood of a 1 can often feel like. So I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what I would want in myself because I haven't taken the time to know it. And not because I wonder, well, like, I don't know, you tell me what the right answer is. I want the answer from in me or just the right one. Like, what would a good person pick? What would a good mom do? What would a good employee want?
Good.
That's right. Perpetually.
Do you want to share about your 6ness? What makes you feel loved?
The very first thing that popped in my head was security. And I know that's weird for some people, but I feel loved if I feel secure with you. And that means I trust you. I feel like you're loyal to me. If I don't feel that, then it just throws me off. It's interesting to me because I was texting with my husband a few days ago because we like to do, we have the Bible app. So we like to, do these like marriage things, and you can comment and stuff and respond. And that was one of the things, because I think early on in the marriage, like I didn't feel secure because like I felt like other things were his priority. Like he was doing other things. So I didn't, you just feel kind of out of sorts. If I don't trust you, if I don't feel like you have my back, if I don't feel secure, I don't feel loved. And emotionally, I need you to take my emotions and like cherish them and put them in a little box and just protect them. That's how I feel love.
Do you like having like a group, like a group that's your group?
Yes.
You typically have, even throughout, I don't know, middle school, high school, adulthood, do you typically have like a clique or a pack?
I moved a ton. Okay. So we were moving every other year. So I never had that until recently as an adult. And it makes me feel super just grounded to have groups that I know that I can turn to, like my boot camp group. Lindsey and, Meghann are part of that. And I just feel so loved in that group.
And just like you know that they're there with any.
Yeah. And we're the type of women, and I tell this too, because women can be so freaking catty. But I'm like, this is a group that I know that I'm not going to, turn around and they're going to be like, oh my gosh, Lena. Like I feel in my soul that that's not happening. Like we're not backstabbing. We're not catty. If we're going to say something, we're going to say it to each other or within the group. We joke a lot, and that's our way of saying, how we feel about each other. So it makes me feel so like whole to be a part of that. And if I don't, then you're not going to be in my circle. If I feel like you're a two-faced or gossipy, you won't be my friend.
I love it.
Yeah.
You've got your safety net. Yeah. You know who your people are.
Yeah, but growing up, it was very unstable. It was always, and so that I never felt secure growing up.
And I bet that was easy and never brought forth any deep issues that you had to process.
Not at all. And even now, it's like, just get over it. And I'm like, okay, I'm trying. I'm trying to get over it. It was rough. Yeah. It was rough. Yeah. And not that we just moved, because some people, it's like, oh yeah, I moved all the time. It's also like the family dynamic I didn't feel secure within the family. Yeah. So it's not like, oh, you moved. I think it would have been different if there was like security within the family.
That was your security safety net.
Yeah, none of that. Yes. So I was like flailing through life. So, yeah.
So do we have time to do the similar thing? We're going to take it a little deeper, a little darker.
Oh my gosh. She's scaring me with this whole deep stuff.
I mean, the question themselves are not deep or dark, but you guys were great in evidence of being able to just process your own experience. And as Suzanne Stabile, Enneagram Guru, always says, like, people remember stories better than facts. Yeah. So I can sit here all day and read you and tell you the Enneagram language, but hearing someone's living in their number is what people remember and connect with. So you can take this in a couple different directions, but this is how I will word the original question to you. Lindsey, we'll start with you again. Okay. Number one, what irks you the most about people, most commonly? Like what trait or what situation or what action irks you the most? It could be in your family. It could be in the general population. What do you find most frustrating about people?
I would say a lack of self-awareness, because that equates to a lack of integrity with me. So when I sense that someone is not being honest, I get this like heat in my body.
Like a visceral reaction?
Yes.
Honest about what? Like, can you think of an example?
Honest, I guess when it makes me the most mad is dishonest about themselves, like lacking a self-awareness.
Okay.
Or when your words and your actions don't line up, to me, that lacks integrity. And I'm growing in grace to understand that, like, I'm not like the only person who values integrity in the world.
Right.
And ones are not the only types that value integrity. But words and actions, how that manifests means a lot.
So like
me.
if somebody at work was like, "Hey, I've got your back. Like I'm a team player," and then you hear them ripping somebody apart in the
That's right.
lunch. So
That's
it's
right.
Something as simple as that.
Stated goals like company mission, about belonging.
So even on a global, like a big level, like word, if you're saying the words.
That's right. Like this is our mission statement. Yet I've seen these actions happen over here. It's kind of the like when you're first dating someone and you see how they treat the server. And you're like, I see you.
Yeah.
And like, so that when your stated mission does not align, and your actions don't align with that. Because to me, that's about integrity. And because integrity is so important to me, that gets me really fired up. And it kicks in my justice angle. I can I know ones don't wing to an 8, but we're in that same triad and I can go there. So like that gets me really fired up.
What I love about that specific example you just gave, it took my brain somewhere different than where I even thought you were going. Because I do think ones are so streamlined in their processes from start to finish. So where some people would have stopped with just the employer talking out of both sides of his mouth, you took it all the way to mission statement. So like the entire streamlined process of a company, dotting all I's, crossing all T's, from the janitor to the CEO. Like we all have a process here.
Yes.
And I think other numbers or individuals, they're like, mission statement, that's lip service. Like that's some words that we're printing because we have to do, it's lip service, to where I would think type ones in particular, no, that is our parameters that we're trying to operate within.
That's
so
right.
I like that example.
That's right.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
just
You're welcome.
loving sidebar. I'm absolutely loving this because my husband's a 1, and so everything you're saying, I'm like, yes, and it just confirms and affirms to me like certain things where I have to just be aware, especially when you said earlier on that like you just want things right, and anytime that I've told him, oh, you didn't do that, or you were supposed to do that, all that throws him off. Like his feelings get so hurt.
Yeah.
And I don't realize, because I'm just talking, but I don't realize that it's like I cut him with a knife or something. Like, but I tried, it's like this thing that you don't appreciate me type thing. So everything you're saying, sidebar.
And I would say for ones, it isn't about the, doing things right or having things done the right way. That isn't for my standard always. I'm looking at a coworker and I'm like, we are like, it's this, or it's your stated goal.
Right. Like you're looking for discrepancy.
It's not my way or the highway.
It's just what was the stated expectation.
That's right. And this is, or us as a church, or us as, coworkers for this particular mission. Like, friends, this is what we are supposed to be. It's not my standard. So it isn't always, I think ones can get that rap that it's my way or the highway.
No,
or
it's not elitist.
that the standard is me.
No.
It's quality control.
That's right. The standard is either an agreed upon standard, or as a follower of Jesus, I'm like, the new heavens and the new earth are our standard. On earth as it is in heaven is our standard. And so like, wouldn't we all want to be doing that? So
Yes. All right, Meghann, what irks you about people most often?
So the first thing that came to my mind was lazy people, or like being less like flippant about it. People who I don't think are living to their potential. Like if I see that whether in my personal life or professional, where I'm like, you could be doing so much more. Not again, and it's not in a for
so you
them.
can be like me.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
It's not like a comparison thing. It's just like, oh my gosh, there's so much potential there. And so not living up to it. So a lot of times that does come out in where I think people are being lazy.
Do you often insert yourself in those situations? And
Absolutely.
Say, yeah. How do you do that?
Well, in like a personal setting, I mean, I'll push people, like whether it's my kids or my husband, you know, or family or friends. Like my approach is different. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, and sometimes it doesn't end up well. Like if my husband and I think that he's not doing as much as I think that he can, and that leads to a lot of issues, right? Of like, I'm doing all of this.
Yeah.
And one, it's not even that there's like not the potential there. It's just not happening. Right. So like you're not living up to it. So it does. And it you know, can come out in positive or negative ways. And then at work, you know, for my team, I'm able with them to do it in a more positive way, like to really see that potential and then help pull it out of them. If there are people who I really don't either, like there's not a relationship there or something, like I can get very mad about it and very frustrated about it.
It's a great answer. I would say that from a non-1 or 3 primary type, even though I have a wing 1 and 3, so I identify with both of those, sometimes the other folks look at your numbers 1 and 3 and are like, how did they do it all? Like it is exhausting emotionally to think, man, I will never be able to accomplish as much in a day. And I'm thinking of all the 1s and 3s of my life. And I literally, all of them at some point in time, I have compared myself to them and thought, I will never be able to do all of that. And that's, you know, comparison issue that is the viewer's issue to work through. But what I will say is the gift, which both of you touched on, that you have is your ability to leverage your superpower of productivity, efficiency, details, goals. People can feed off of that. And as you know, it's all in your delivery. It's like, hey, I see your potential. You would be so great at this. Or, hey, you could totally take this to the next level if you would just, and then coming alongside. I do feel like 1s and 3s are extremely inspirational. Different than 7s. 7s are inspirational too because they're fun and they're charismatic, which 3s and 1s have as well. But there's an energy that's different. So leverage.
I agree with that. 1s and 3s are, I love you two so much because it's so, you know, you have things that I don't have and it's just, it is inspiring.
For me as a 3, there's, and I don't know where this comes from, but there's like a loyalty or like a, you know, and I see it with my family and my work family, like this advocacy or like, I will walk through fire for you, but I for sure expect the same, or at least like an attempt at that same behavior. Like if I don't see that you're being loyal or working as hard as you can, like I get beyond thinking that they should be working as hard as I am. But if they're working as hard as I think they can be, there is this like unwavering like support and advocacy and like push and like cheerleading for them.
That's another thing I would say 1s and 3s have in common, which I love. Neither, even though you said you love affirmation and you want to know you did it right, neither 1s nor 3s have to have the spotlight and the crown. As long as the team gets the spotlight and the crown, it's a win. Like you want the win for the win's sake. You want it done good in a good way. You want the goal achieved. And as long as it's there, the team wins. Now that doesn't mean you're not frustrated with someone that screwed up at some point or didn't carry their weight, but
it's not ego driven.
It's not ego driven. It's eye on the prize driven. If the prize is achieved, we all won together. Do you have anything you want to add about as a 6, what irks you?
Mine is similar to Lindsey's, but not on the bigger scale. It's more individual. I hate liars. I don't like people that lie, own your stuff. And I don't like when you kind of confront someone and they stick to that lie. I know you're lying. You know you're lying. That irks me. So it's not, it's starting to get more grand like you, like, you know, big picture, but now it's mostly individuals. So I don't like liars. Yeah. Because you can't trust them. Yeah. I don't trust. And if I can't trust you, then
you don't have security.
Yeah. So get out my face. Yeah. Get out my face with your lies.
You can hear like the 6 and the 1 nuance in our answers. Like how it might seem like the same thing. I didn't say lying.
You said dishonest, and I called them a liar.
That's right. The nuance there of the loyalty part of the like threat forecasting, that is a different application of the same kind of thing I'm talking about. But the lens, the priority in it is coming from a different place.
Well, it's cute. It's cute because I'm always you and I have done a podcast together, just the two of us, and I'm like, okay, you bring the intelligence and the quietness, and I bring the passion and the oh my gosh, because she's like, oh, I don't like dishonest people. I'm like, they're liars, okay. Dishonest is such a sweet, pretty word.
See, I think this little chunk of a discussion right now between 4 women is what all of this is all about.
Yes,
all
exactly.
About, because obviously, if we could all have X-ray vision and see every scenario through each other's eyes, and then therefore tailor our own behavior to be the most winsome, helpful, honest, life would be great.
Yeah.
So it's like the more conversations we have about this is what I know I do poorly that I'm working on. This is what I'm often frustrated with, but I'm gaining grace towards people. That's when things improve, whether it's a family, a work team, a marriage. It's learning to give each other the benefit of the doubt, celebrate where people are different instead of feel threatened by it.
Totally.
And keep trying to refine your own craft.
Yes.
One of the things that the Enneagram, why it has such utility in my life is like we are all in different, you and Meghann are in the same triad.
Yes.
But like we're all in different places. We all have, obviously we're different types.
Yes.
We're in different intelligence centers, different dominant emotions, but there's things that with each of us, when I hear your story, I can say, me too. Like that,
There's
that
commonality.
also for me. And so to me, that's one of the best things about the Enneagram is the connectedness truly that you can grow, as you said, in compassion for one another. If you aren't learning the Enneagram and growing in compassion for yourself, then you're not then you're not doing it right. And that you could listen to each person's story. There will be something. I'm solidly a 1. Never doubted it for a second. Didn't need a test to tell me. But I can hear each person's type and go, oh, I'm that way. I'm that way.
Absolutely. And as you at the table know, and listeners, you may or may not know, depending on your degree of exposure to the Enneagram, but we have arrows that connect us to other numbers. We have our wings. We have subtypes. Like there's a type of 6 that looks more like a 1. There's a type of 1 that looks more like a 6 or more like an 8. So not only can we identify, we have it in us. We are.
Right.
We are similar.
That's one thing. Just, I think it's important, or at least I'm like really compelled to say this to your listeners who hear this. Finding a group of people who help you grow and are positive. I know, at least in my experience, Leanette, you mentioned our group. And it is such a positive growth mindset.
It is.
Group that I know for me, coming from a 3 place, getting healthy or seeing when I'm being unhealthy, like being with a group of women who call you out and like, they're also working to grow and be better. It has for sure for me, like when I hear both Lindsey and Leanette talk about honesty, I'm like, I'm a 3. And so I see there are times where we'll all be talking and both of you have challenged and made me better and more healthy as a 3 to go, am I saying that because like I love them and I want them to love me, or am I saying it because that's what I believe and I want, and like and that is a gift, and to have that kind of friendship and that kind of gift that we can do that and have that and are given the opportunity to help each other grow or be forced in a really positive way to be healthier or be better, like it is incredible.
I love that.
And so, if you don't have one, get one.
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh, yeah. I completely agree with that. Yeah.
Yes. And for anyone listening that's like, well, how do I get one? Because I feel like it's easier for some to connect
Yes.
with people. It's harder for some, or
Totally.
to even
It
have the
is, yeah.
desire to connect.
Yeah.
They're like, I need it, but I don't want it.
Right.
Asking questions. Like you can hear, I just met Meghann today. I've been with Leonette once. Lindsey and I have been together a handful of times, but I feel more bonded and connected to them after a 30-minute conversation because we're asking each other questions.
Exactly.
So practically speaking, if you're listening like, yeah, I want a friend, but how do I do it? You ask questions. And you don't have to come straight out of the gates and say, what do you hate about people? In fact, don't do that. But it is as simple as striking up a conversation with people and then asking questions through the lens of what's it like to be you? And while you share that, I'd love to share what it's like to be me and find what you have in common.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thanks,
I can keep talking
So good.
all about this because I love this so much. So thank you for being vulnerable, Meghann.
Thank you.
Meghann, you didn't
And
cry.
Lindsey.
I
I
must
know.
face
A
it
couple of times.
I didn't do my job if no one cried.
I mean, you were digging deep.
You were.
But we kind of know who we are, but sometimes saying it out loud is a little scary.
Yes.
Especially when people are listening. But thank you, ladies.
Thank you,
Melissa.
Melissa.
Thank you
Thanks,
so
Lynn.
much.
Until next time.
Yes.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
That was such a fun conversation. We could have actually talked for another hour and dug into, more things and more questions. Certain questions just make you think. As we were, talking, the answer just hits you immediately. So we know, I think sometimes we're just afraid to say it out loud and, be our true selves. But if you want to go back, I did have Melissa Thorson on episode 23, What is Your Enneagram? And we went over all of the numbers, gave an overview. And I just wanted to, to bring her on to discuss each number and bring another, bring the people on that, embody that number so that we can have deeper conversations. So she definitely will be back on future episodes with other numbers. If you want to get in contact with Melissa Thorson, she does have a website. It's peachtreeenneagram.com, peachtreeenneagram.com. She does personal Enneagram coaching. She does workshops and retreats, couples or family coaching. So she does all of it. Again, if you want to reach out to her and get more in depth with your number, we will end the show with this quote. Don't forget, while you're busy doubting yourself, someone else is admiring your strength. Thank you so much for listening to Virago 24/7. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and please give us 5-star ratings. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Virago24_7 and on Facebook at Virago24/7. And just connect with us and share your story. We'd love to hear from you.